It's late November in Canada. The rolling therapist is a little worried about the cold today. A little worry joke there, which isn't actually that funny. Generalized anxiety disorder is a mental health condition that involves constant and chronic worry, which is incredibly difficult to stop. It leaves a person feeling drained and discouraged. But there is hope. In this video, the rolling therapist returns to talk about generalized anxiety disorder and how you can begin to get the upper hand over this mental health problem by cultivating the habit of avoiding avoidance.
As mentioned in Part 1, worry is a sumo. It stomps into the mind of those with GAD when they encounter uncertainty. Those with generalized anxiety disorder are extra sensitive to the uncertainty that we all face in life. Dr. Michel Dugas has referred to this as an allergy to uncertainty. Like pollen in the spring, some people barely notice it, while others are reduced to a snotty, watery-eyed mess. Another name for this psychological allergy is intolerance. People with GAD tolerate uncertainty like those with hay fever tolerate a face full of pollen. So, the urge to avoid uncertainty is very understandable, it's just not helpful. For you see, avoidance is one of the rolling therapist's arch villains. Just as Batman has the Joker, the Riddler, and Bane, just as Hulk has Abomination and the Mandarin, so the rolling therapist has a list of nemesi, whatever, has a list of villains whom he's ever watchful for, and avoidance is prominent on that list. Avoidance is a powerful and dastardly ne'er-do-well. Operating from the shadows, it quietly but effectively influences people to, well, avoid stuff that makes them anxious. It whispers that there's no need to face anxiety, it's better to stay home and watch YouTube videos, feeling comfortably numb. You might be thinking, okay, that's all very dramatic, but I don't see the problem. I don't like to feel anxious, so it kind of seems like a good idea to avoid it. Aren't we put on this earth to feel good, be happy, and avoid stuff that sucks? No, we're not. The rolling therapist is of the opinion that believing that is, in itself, a form of avoidance, possibly pushing into delusion. Life actually involves lots of stuff that sucks. Take this construction zone I'm plodding through, when I'd much rather open the throttle and let Carl fly. Avoiding all uncertainty, discomfort, and inconvenience in life is not only impossible, it's not very good for your mental health. One psychologist is on record stating that avoidance is the most important factor in anxiety. There's a link in the description to her article on Avoidance Coping. She defines avoidance coping as choosing your behavior based on trying to avoid or escape particular thoughts or feelings. This is important because you just can't make any progress with anxiety while you're coping by avoiding. I'm not advocating some kind of masochism here. I'm not saying suffering is a virtue or happiness is a lie. But I am totally saying that when you have an anxiety disorder, avoiding anxious situations is a big mistake. Here's an opportunity for the rolling therapist to explain the difference between normal anxiety and problem anxiety. It's all about the bear. Here in Canada, when one is hiking through the breathtaking panorama of the Great White North in all its raw beauty, one hopes not to encounter a bear. If you do cross paths with one, then anxiety is both normal and pretty helpful. If the bear decides you are either a threat or you look tasty, then anxiety will stimulate the adrenal system of your body, jacking up your muscles and reflexes. This in turn increases the chances you'll make it up the nearest scalable tree before Ursus arctos horribilis, aka grizzly bear, catches up. If you're lucky. On a side note, I find the Latin term for grizzly, Ursus arctos horribilis, especially the horribilis part, rather fitting. On the other hand, the polar bear, which is actually bigger and badder than the grizzly, is named Ursus maritimus. This sounds like the polar bear might break out a fiddle and a jar of hooch to share, while you do a little gumboot cloggin'. While that's a pleasant enough image, it's pretty inaccurate. Running into a polar bear is actually far more dangerous than a grizzly. Anyway, the point here is, when you're in front of a bear, anxiety is a good thing. When there is no bear in sight and you're feeling really anxious, you've got a problem. Problem anxiety is that which is felt when no actual danger is immediately present. So, returning to the question of what's the problem with avoidance? Well, when faced with a real and present danger, like a large and irritable bear, there is no problem with avoidance. It's recommended, actually. However, when anxiety is firing away in your nervous system despite no immediate danger, then avoidance is the enemy. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Worry is of no use when there's no real problem in front of me. I understand, so what's all the fuss about avoidance? Isn't it enough to get the point? Nope. It's a good start, but understanding abstract ideas is very often just not enough to actually change behavior. We all get the idea that it would be better to eat less potato chips and more broccoli. I don't think potato chip sales are hurting at all. This is because an abstract thought on its own is just an academic exercise. Potato chips taste really good, and that experience, at least for the rolling therapist, tends to outweigh the abstract idea that I'd be healthier if I ate less of those tasty, yummy snacks. It's not just an academic exercise when you put yourself into whatever situation you worry ferociously about. You actually experience the full glory of the anxiety, which is no fun. But then you come out on the other side of the event and have the excellent experience of, hey, would you look at that? I survived! Nothing bad happened. It wasn't nearly as bad as worry told me it would be. Hey, maybe worry isn't so helpful after all. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then the rolling therapist humbly suggests that experience is worth 100,000 words. I'd say 1,000,000, but I don't really know. And 1,000,000 seems like I'm just being dramatic. I'm sure you get the picture. Thinking and talking about how worry is a waste of time just can't compete with living through the worrisome experience and discovering, much to your surprise, that you survived it successfully. It's a demonstration rather than a theory, and that demonstration builds confidence and feels quite rewarding. It also builds tolerance so that the allergy to uncertainty gets weaker. And obviously, if you keep avoiding that worrisome situation, you can never experience that confidence and tolerance building. The allergy will stay strong and make you miserable. The rolling therapist wishes to be careful and considerate here. If I just say, avoid avoidance, and leave it at that, I'm actually saying just stop worrying in different words. And in part 1, I clearly asked everyone not to do that. So, I want to be very clear that avoiding avoidance will be hard. It will feel like running with scissors. Your kindergarten teacher did tell you not to do that, right? It will feel like surfing in shark-infested waters, or standing unnecessarily close to the edge of a really high place. It will feel reckless and foolish, and you'll probably curse my name for telling you to do it. That's okay. That's all part of my job. What I can say is, keep the bear in mind. I'm not asking you to actually run with scissors. I'm asking you to face situations which feel scary, but have no actual real and present danger. Identifying these situations can actually be half the battle. Avoidance often feels like common sense, not a problem. You'll need to be brutally honest with yourself, which can be pretty hard. I'm not avoiding things. You're avoiding things. Commonly avoided situations include things like not investing in a friendship because you're just not sure if this person will be a good friend. finding multiple reasons not to start exercising, like you're unsure you'll feel totally comfortable walking in those new shoes. Putting off buying a new gadget until you've been able to read at least a dozen reviews. Not clicking send on an email until you have read it over and over and over. Asking everyone in your department for reassurance about your choice of caterer for the Friday meeting, even though the first 5 have all given 2 thumbs up. Doing nothing on a free evening because you just weren't sure you would pick the right movie to see. Or, as illustrated in part 1, not riding a motorcycle. One of the best things in life, because something bad might happen. Notice that none of these involve hiding in a closet. That's another reason avoidance can be hard to spot. It doesn't always physically look like hiding away. Avoidance can be achieved by seeking a lot of reassurance from people or procrastinating until that mythical point in time when you're absolutely sure it's okay to make a decision and move forward. It's not hard to imagine where I'm going with this. Do the avoided things. Avoid avoidance. Hit send on that email without checking it over. Make a decision without asking anyone for reassurance. Start exercising whether you're sure you can handle it or not. Go to that movie, regardless of whether it's good or not. Ride a motorcycle. The problem here is actually the solution at the same time. I really wanted to say that. It sounds so smart. The problem is an anxiety disorder, abnormally high levels of anxiety. The solution is letting yourself feel that anxiety. Your nervous system will be screaming at you, "Danger, danger! What the heck are you doing? Turn back, you fool! Avoid, avoid!" as you try to force yourself to do this typically avoided thing. But that's the whole point. If you feel that kind of dread and unease, you're on the right track. It's best to start small and work your way up. If you have GAD, chances are you avoid a lot of things. I recommend making a list and ranking them from least to most scary. Go for the least scary first, work your way up. Keep in mind that anxiety cannot hurt you. Anxiety is just a feeling. Anxiety is the body's alarm system, and while yours may fire off way too much, alarm systems are not designed to cause damage, just to be really irritating so you'll listen to them. Anxiety has a time limit. The body cannot sustain it forever. Yes, it can go on long enough that it seems like forever, but it will end. For this to work, you need to stick with it until the anxiety dies off on its own. Don't give in to avoidance partway through, or it will once again rob you of the benefit of that success experience. And if it helps, do feel free to call the rolling therapist many unsavory names as you go through it. I consider that all part of the service I provide. You're welcome.